Hey mama, are you overwhelmed by your mental load? Do you lose sleep and struggle to shut your brain off because of all the things that you know you have to do? Do you find yourself thinking constantly about how to schedule the day, how to plan the event, what you need to do, what forms you need to sign, what you need to order, and so much more? This is the mental load that you carry, and it's usually invisible. It's a load that your husband typically is completely unaware of. Welcome back to Married Moms Take Control. I'm your host, Navart Wilborn, and today I'm going to teach you a simple tool to help you make your invisible load very visible to your husband and to help you engage him fully to share this load with you. So let's start by clarifying a little more what the mental load is. So mental load is the cognitive and emotional labor of managing a household, not just doing tasks, but thinking about the tasks. There's a difference between having an event on your calendar, like maybe a baseball game or a birthday party, and there's a difference between that and all the things that it takes to be ready for that birthday party or that baseball game, right? So, for example, while your husband might have it on his calendar about maybe what time he needs to leave work to be able to get to the game to watch your kid play, you likely are thinking about if the uniform is washed, if the bag is packed, what time the kids need to be picked up from school to get them home in time to have a snack or dinner, to be able to get them ready to go to the game, right? It's a little bit of a different list of things that have to be organized. Same for the birthday party, right? Your husband may have it on his task list to take your child to a friend's birthday party, but you, on the other hand, will likely have to think about what to buy this other kid. When are you going to have time to wrap it? Does your kid need to wear something specific? Where is this? What's the attire? How are you going to fit in a nap? Because maybe your kid still naps and this party is smack in the middle of your kid's nap time. So how are you going to work around that? That, my friend, is mental load. This is the stuff that has to happen behind the scenes to make the things on the calendar or day to day come to life. Most moms, unfortunately, feel like they carry this load alone and that they often feel like they're absolutely exhausted by it because it doesn't stop. And they may even feel upset or resentful that their husband doesn't think about these things and doesn't lose sleep over these things. And ultimately, the husband doesn't typically have to do these things, right? But the reality is that honestly, I think most husbands want to help. They just don't see the mental load. Their brains just simply work different than ours do. And they don't think about things the same way we do. And that's not an excuse or a justification for anything. It's just how it is. So, we are going to work on making this invisible mental load visible, and we're going to set up a system together that helps you and your husband not only be equally aware of the mental load, but to share in this load together. It's going to be super easy and quick to implement. And so, I hope that it's something that you feel can fit into your world. We're going to create a family task list. And before you shut down, because it's another list, stick with me because this is going to be very different. It's going to be cooperative. So I made you a simple template that's going to go along with this, but to get my free template, you have to be a member of my Facebook group. So if you haven't joined my group, you're missing out. It's a sweet place to be. The group is called Married Moms Take Control. It's easy to find on Facebook. And in this Facebook group, I will post the document, the PDF for this template, and you'll be able to print it out or whatever it is that you need to do to be able to fill this out and work with it. Okay, so once you download my template, it will guide you through this following list that I'm going to explain to you. Okay, step one. The template has a spot for you to brain dump. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a few minutes and I want you to write down 5, 10, 15 things that you are mentally tracking right now, right? It could be the school forms that you need to fill out. It could be the maintenance on your card that needs to be scheduled. It could be the back to school shopping, the birthday party you're planning or taking your kid to, any of that. 10 to 15, 5, 10, 15 things that you are tracking right now that you just are swirling around in your head, right? Step 2, I want you to choose a format for your list. Okay, so this is going to be where you're going to put this list that we're creating together in this plan, right? So you could use a whiteboard, a notebook, sticky notes. You can put it on your fridge. You can do a shared app, maybe Google Keep. I really like using Google Keep. If you haven't used that, it's an app, it's a free app, and it just lets you select, create a new note, and it's just kind of sits there like sticky notes in the app. You can share it with your husband in real time, just like any Google app or, thing that you use. It updates in real time. So pick how you want to do it. If you're doing some kind of electronic, or if you're doing plain old paper or whiteboard. Okay. Step number 3, I want you to put it somewhere accessible. Obviously, if you're using an app, it's on your phone or your computer or whatever. But if you're using paper or whiteboard or something, I want you to put it somewhere in your house where you and your husband are both going to see it daily, right? For some people, that's the fridge. For some people, it's on the kitchen counter and they just, kind of leave it in a specific place. Some people leave these kinds of things on their bathroom counter, in their master bathroom, because that's where they can stand, brush their teeth and see it, right? So pick where you want to put this, and it has to be somewhere where you and your husband are going to actively see it easily. You're not going to have to go out of your way to see this. So in the template, you will see 3 columns. It's going to have the task column, the due date column, and who's on it column. Okay. This is just going to be basically simplify it as, if you go back to your list of 10 to 15 things that you wrote down, what is that task that you wrote down? When does it need to be completed by? And then as we approach this next step, we're going to talk about which one you're going to do, which one your husband's going to do. That's where you're going to write that name. Okay. So that goes into step 4. I want you to explain this to your husband. This is typically the hard part. How do I say this? What do I say? How do I get him to engage? I'm going to tell you. Okay, so using, of course, a calm voice and a collaborative tone, right? You're not going to be aggressive. You're not going to be rude. You're not going to be sarcastic. You're going to say something like, hey, I was listening to a podcast today, and the lady that was talking suggested this shared family task list that I would really like for us to try together. It'll help us be more organized to share the load of the things that we have to do at home, and it'll really help me feel less stressed. So here is a list of a few things that I'm tracking right now, and I'm asking for us to share this list. Can you please work on this with me? So I wrote down 10 things, for example, and I would really appreciate if you could pick 2 things from this list that you are comfortable being fully responsible for. I won't bother you about it. I won't ask you if you got it done. I will just, if you tell me that you're going to do it, I will just assume that that's going to be your task. And then when it's done, if you'll just let me know, then, just mark it off the list that we have together. Okay. Really, really simple, script that you can use with your husband. There's nothing judgmental about it. There's nothing aggressive. There's nothing blaming. There's no accusation. This is what we have, this is what we track to keep our family together. There's this many things on it. Can you just pick 2, whichever 2 you want? Okay. So let him choose his 1 or 2 tasks. Like maybe he's going to schedule a doctor's visit or something. But then again, I want you to let him fully own it. You're not going to micromanage him. You're not going to remind him. But if you're worried that he will forget, or that you don't think he will be able to follow through, then you can have a follow-up conversation that's like, hey, what would be the best way for you to keep track of that? I'm going to make myself a reminder on my phone, for example, where my phone will remind me tomorrow at this time, because I have a break from work, to make this phone call. Do you want me to tell you some of the tips that I use and what helps me, or do you feel like you've got it, right? If he's like, I got it, then you have to let it just be. You have to let him do it. And if he fails at it, quote, fails at it, that's part of the learning lesson. Then you'll have to come back to it and say, hey, I didn't want to micromanage you. You said you could do that one on your own. That didn't really work. I know you have a lot on your plate. I have a lot on my plate. What can we do differently? Right? But I don't think it'll come to that. So step number 4. So step 3, again, was talk to your husband about it. Step number 4 is thank him for stepping up, right? Even for the small wins, even if it's like the task on his list was that he did make a phone call and scheduled a doctor's appointment, and maybe it was his doctor's appointment, right? Still thank him. That is a win, right? And when you do that, when you show gratitude, and if you're not bought into the whole thanking people for things they already do, listen to some of my other episodes, because you'll get a whole lot more buy-in from people if you validate them. Even if you're like, why should I thank this person for something he already should do? Because that's just what it takes to be a nice person. Okay. So you will build momentum. You will get a buy-in from your husband, and he will enjoy being validated, because that's just human nature. Okay. So if you do this and you work collaboratively with your husband, remembering to use that calm tone, you will notice a big difference. This doesn't work if you bring it up when you're irritated, if you use a harsh tone, if you're negative or anything like that. It only works if you bring it up calmly, kindly, and with the intention of working together on this. You're not going, if your mindset is fine, I'll do it, but he's not going to follow through, then don't do it, because you're already expecting your husband to fail, and you're not coming in this with a heart of a teammate, right? You're coming into this feeling like your husband is going to let you down. So you have to believe in your husband. And if he's not given you any reason to believe in him before, then that has to be part of the conversation, which is, I really want us to do this together, but I'm nervous that it's going to be hard for you to follow through. And that's, again, like I said, do you want me to tell you how I do things? Do you want me to give you some tips on what works for me? You can have a collaborative conversation about that. That's not, well, you've never followed through with anything before, or your systems don't work, right? That's judgmental. Like, don't do that, right? So I want you to go into this with the right mindset that this is going to be something that you're going to do together, that you're going to share this list, that you are going to help each other. If he wants you, you can ask him, do you want me to like remind you? Obviously that adds one more thing to your mental load, but we're still in practice and we're setting up a system that maybe down the road he will not need reminders. But if you think that he will benefit from a reminder from you, instead of making yourself a note to remind him tomorrow, say, you know what, how about right now I set a reminder on our Google Calendar. I'm going to set an event that says call Dr. So-and-so, and I'm going to invite you to it. But what that means is when that goes off, when that rings on your phone, I'm not addressing it. I've made that for us together, but it's your task. And that's why using some kind of reminder app or something like that works great, because it's not just on you. And you can even instill a rule and say, how about every night before bed, while we're brushing our teeth, we look at our list together and we just kind of check in on what's not done, what the due dates are. Maybe we'll look at that and be like, oh, my thing is due tomorrow. Shoot, let me make sure I take care of that, right? So it's not a one and done. We set it up and we never look at it again. We're going to be looking at this list every day, every day, every day. This is going to be a part of how you now together manage the mental load. And when he sees 20 items on here and your name is next to 18 of them, that is really good for your husband too. It's good for him to see what you've got on your mind, because you want him to help. We also want him to be aware and mindful of what you are working on, because that's just a typical mom thing. We're always doing more than we see, or we're always doing more than people see us doing, right? So that's good. That's okay. We're not rubbing it in anyone's face. You're not like, see, I have more on my list. No, let the list speak for itself. You don't need to point it out. Okay. So there you have it, ladies. Make sure you are in the Facebook group to grab this template so that you can start working on this ASAP. And I want you, I'm telling you, this is the kind of stuff that works. These are the kinds of systems that I set up with my clients in therapy, And these are the kinds of things that make a difference in their world. So I hope that you will jump on it. I hope you won't put it off. And don't forget, if you haven't already, I want you to download my free guide that will give you great tips about how to improve communication with your husband. The guide is called 7 Steps to a Stronger Marriage Without Couples Therapy. And the link to download this free guide is in the show notes and on all my social media. All right, ladies, I will talk to you next time. Have a great week. Bye.